The brain continuously processes thoughts, attention shifts, emotional information, predictions, decisions, environmental input, and unfinished tasks throughout daily life. When too many mental processes remain active at the same time, cognitive load increases across multiple systems involved in attention, working memory, prediction, emotional regulation, and nervous system activation. Overlapping thoughts require the brain to repeatedly organize, prioritize, monitor, and switch between competing streams of information, increasing overall mental demand. This does not only affect concentration, it also influences mental fatigue, attentional stability, emotional intensity, cognitive recovery, and physiological activation across the nervous system. Modern environments often maintain continuous cognitive stimulation through notifications, interruptions, uncertainty, multitasking, emotional carryover, and constant informational input, which may contribute to persistent feelings of mental pressure and cognitive exhaustion over time. The brain continuously shifts attention between thoughts, environmental input, emotional information, predictions, unfinished tasks, and incoming stimulation throughout daily life. Each attentional switch requires cognitive processing because the brain must repeatedly reorganize priorities, update working memory, evaluate relevance, and redirect mental resources toward new information or demands. Frequent switching increases overall cognitive load across systems involved in attention, prediction, emotional regulation, and nervous system activation. Modern environments now encourage constant attentional shifting through notifications, multitasking, interruptions, scrolling, uncertainty, and continuous informational input. This ongoing switching process may contribute to mental fatigue, reduced attentional stability, cognitive exhaustion, and persistent feelings of internal mental pressure over time. The brain is therefore not only processing individual thoughts, it is continuously managing competing streams of information simultaneously. Unfinished tasks often remain mentally active because the brain continues monitoring unresolved information connected to goals, prediction, uncertainty, or future action. Systems involved in attention, working memory, planning, and cognitive prioritization may repeatedly return to incomplete tasks in order to maintain awareness of what still requires processing or resolution. This ongoing monitoring increases cognitive load because mental resources continue being allocated toward information that has not yet reached closure or completion. Modern environments frequently increase the number of active unfinished loops through multitasking, interruptions, constant communication, information overload, and rapidly shifting demands across daily life. As more unresolved tasks accumulate simultaneously, mental pressure, attentional fragmentation, and cognitive fatigue may also increase. The brain continuously attempts to track and organize unresolved information even when attention is directed elsewhere. When too many thoughts stay active at the same time, the brain must constantly decide what deserves attention. First, thoughts about unfinished tasks, uncertainty, conversations, responsibilities, emotional stress, future planning, and daily demands may all compete for mental resources simultaneously. This increases cognitive pressure because the brain is continuously trying to organize, prioritize, predict, and monitor multiple streams of information at once. Modern environments often make this worse through constant stimulation, interruptions, multitasking, scrolling, and continuous input. The brain is not designed to process endless competing demands without fatigue. The more active mental loops there are, the more pressure builds, across attention and nervous system regulation systems. As mental load increases, the brain has less capacity available for clear attention, emotional regulation, decision making, and stable cognitive processing. Too many active thoughts, constant interruptions, unfinished tasks, emotional carryover, and continuous stimulation increase processing demands across multiple systems at the same time. Over time, this may reduce attentional stability and increase feelings of mental fatigue, pressure, irritability, forgetfulness, emotional reactivity, and cognitive exhaustion. The brain is continuously trying to manage incoming information while also monitoring unresolved demands already competing for attention. Modern environments often maintain this processing pressure for long periods without enough recovery or reduced stimulation between demands. Mental overload does not only affect concentration, it affects overall cognitive regulation across the nervous system. The brain is not designed for constant stimulation without periods of reduced input and mental recovery. Attention systems, working memory, emotional regulation, and nervous system activation all require periods of lower cognitive demand to help stabilize processing and reduce accumulated mental pressure over time. Modern environments often reduce these recovery gaps through continuous notifications, scrolling, multitasking, background stimulation, rapid switching, and constant informational input across the day. Without enough reduced stimulation, attentional systems may remain highly active for extended periods, increasing mental fatigue and cognitive overload. Recovery is not only physical. The brain also benefits from periods of lower processing demand, reduced attentional competition, and less environmental stimulation. Cognitive systems recover more effectively when mental input decreases periodically throughout the day. The brain continuously adapts to the amount of stimulation and information it processes throughout the day. When input remains constant through notifications, scrolling, multitasking, background noise, emotional media, conversations, and unfinished demands, attentional systems may stay highly active for long periods without fully resetting. This ongoing activation increases cognitive pressure because the brain must continuously monitor, organize, filter, and prioritize incoming information while also managing existing mental load already competing for attention. Modern environments often reduce opportunities for quiet processing, reduce stimulation, and attentional recovery between demands. Over time, constant input may contribute to mental fatigue, attentional instability, emotional carryover, cognitive exhaustion, and persistent feelings of internal pressure. The brain processes information more effectively when periods of lower stimulation are still present throughout daily life. When cognitive load stays high for long periods, emotional regulation may also become more difficult. The brain is already using large amounts of attention and processing capacity to manage overlapping thoughts, unfinished tasks, constant input, uncertainty, and environmental demands. As mental pressure increases, patience, attentional stability, emotional flexibility, and recovery capacity may gradually decrease. Small frustrations may feel more intense. Emotional reactions may happen faster. Mental fatigue may also increase sensitivity to stress, interruption, uncertainty, and social tension throughout the day. The brain is not separating cognition and emotion into completely independent systems. These systems continuously influence each other during daily processing. Mental overload affects both cognitive processing and emotional regulation across the nervous system. The brain evolved to process changing environments that included periods of movement, recovery, quiet, focused attention, and reduced stimulation between demands. Modern environments now expose attention systems to constant input through notifications, multitasking, scrolling, uncertainty, emotional media, interruptions, background noise, and continuous informational pressure throughout the day. As cognitive demands accumulate, the brain must continuously organize, filter, prioritize, monitor, and process overlapping streams of information at the same time. This ongoing pressure increases cognitive fatigue, attentional instability, emotional carryover, and mental exhaustion across multiple systems involved in attention, regulation, prediction, and nervous system activation. The problem is not simply too many thoughts. The problem is continuous cognitive demand without enough recovery, reduced stimulation, or mental reset between processing cycles.